Hi, my name is Kyle, and I'm going to be talking today about the aggregate supply and demand. To begin with, it asks me to describe what the business cycle is and use an example from either my experience or someone I know's experience within the business cycle. The business cycle is basically talking about the shifts in the supply and demand curve, the aggregate supply and demand curves, and whether it's going left or right, inward or outward, and what that means, as well as the example that I have for the business cycle is going to be talking about the economic recession in 2008 and 2009 when me and my family were buying a house. Now, at this time, I was very young. However, when my family bought this house, they bought it for an extremely high price because we did need to find a place to live with a good school district, and we bought it for a price that was probably not worth it. And when we went to sell it later on, it was very difficult to get someone to buy it for that similar price to make our money back, even just to break even. Second question to ask is it says, with the features described, is it considered a demand side recession or a supply side recession? And to that, I answered it's a supply side recession, and my reasoning for that is because during a supply side recession, oftentimes the unemployment rate rises as well as the GDP goes down, while the inflation goes up because companies and products are trying to be able to make their money back when there's a shortage in supply, as well as when there is not enough people or not enough supply. A lot of companies and a lot of things have to be let people go in order to keep what they need to during the supply shortage and supply recession. And so with a supply recession, again, the overall productivity and production of U.S. economy does go down, which in turn increases unemployment rates and higher inflation rates. And lastly, list the factors that could explain a shift of the aggregate demand, and which one do you think is the most predominant during the shutdown of the U.S. economy to prevent the COVID-19 spread? The 5 factors that are there are consumer sentiment, income and wealth, consumer spending, taxes and government spending, and lastly, interest rates. And personally, I think the most predominant one during COVID-19 and during the U.S. economy shutdown during COVID-19 is the consumer sentiment, because that is the one that has basically the most, I would say, has the most influence over the government as well as over what happened during that time and over COVID in general. And consumer sentiment is basically where it's the measurement of the overall health and how well the government is doing in the consumer's opinion, aka the citizens of the United States opinion. And I believe that had the most influence as well as the most impact over COVID-19 and the U.S. economy shutdown during COVID-19. Thank you.